So now a primary key constraint in SQL Server is just a fundamental concept that is used to uniquely identify each row in a table, and then it cannot have a null, meaning it cannot be empty, and each value in the column must be unique. This constraint ensures that there's data integrity by guaranteeing that there's no two rows that can have the same primary key value. So it's a common practice to use an integer column with identity property as a primary key, but you can use any other data types as well. It's just going to be difficult to track if you use any other data types. Now, just to explain it further, imagine that you've got perhaps a large library that is full of books. So each book has a unique code, often called maybe the Library of Congress control number. So this code is crucial because it will help you to find, the exact book that you are looking for among thousands of books. So if not millions of books. So without this code, finding a specific book could be like looking for a needle in a haystack, right? Now think of a primary key in a database table like a unique code in a library, just as each book's code is unique, and it just helps you to locate it precisely. Now a primary key in a database table is uniquely identifies each row or a record in the table. So this is important because in a table that stores maybe information, let's say maybe you've got information, let's say about employees, products, or customers. So you need to find a way to identify and access individual records quickly and accurately. For example, maybe in the employees table, the employee ID could be a primary key. So no two employees would have the same ID, ensuring that each entry in the table is unique. So this uniqueness is like having a personal identification number. Even though two people might share the same name in their ID, but their IDs make it clear who is who, right? So just like our unique book code in a library. So in an essence, a primary key is the database ways of organizing and accessing information efficiently, just making sure that every piece of data can be uniquely identified and found just like you would do in a book library. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we can do some few examples. So I'm going to add a new query here, and I will switch my database to my demo DB. Now we do have the table that I actually want to create. So what we can do, we can just drop the table, drop table if exists, which is products. Since we do have a table, I just want to drop it and then so I can recreate it according to the example that we want to do. All right, so let's go ahead and add another query. Now we can recreate a table, create table products, since we actually deleted it, products, and then in the table we will have the product ID, which is the integer type and is also identity. So we did talk about the identity column, and then it's a primary key, and then perhaps we have the product name, which is varchar characters, and then not no. Then we have a the price decimal. Now, in this table, in this example, the product ID serves as a primary key. So it will uniquely identify each product. And then the identity property automatically generates the unique values for the new row. So let's say sometimes we want to create a table with composite key, because in some scenarios you might need a combination of columns to uniquely identify a row. So this is known as a composite primary key. So we will actually do something like create table, let's say order details, and then in order details, then we will have maybe the order ID, which is the integer. And then we'll have the product ID, which is also the integer. And then perhaps we have the quantity, which is also the integer. And then we will actually add a constraint. Let's just say primary key order details. So we can give a constraint a name, which is primary key order details, and we'll specify primary key, which is order ID, and product ID. All right, so here we have the combination of the order ID and the product ID columns. They form a composite primary key for the order details table, meaning that each order can have multiple products, but a specific product can only appear once per order. All right. Then we can also have maybe let's say we want to add we forgot to add a primary key. So if you need to add a primary key constraint on an existing table, so that we can use the alter statement that we've already done. So we can say alter table, let's say maybe we've got a table called customers, and we'll add constraint constraint let's just say customers, and then primary key, and then we'll supposedly we have the customer ID there. So I'm just going to comment this one out because I don't want it to execute when I'm executing, since we don't really have a table called customers. All right, this is just an example of how we can add a primary key on an existing table. So one thing that you must consider with a primary keys are automatically indexed, which helps in quickly locating and retrieving the database on the primary key column. When it comes to design, choose the primary key columns carefully just to ensure that they remain unique and unchanged over time. And then sometimes we've got surrogate keys, like for example, an identity column, are often used for this purpose. And so when it comes to modifications, once set, modifying the primary key of a populated table can be very complex, and may involve data integrity and challenges. So primary keys are crucial components of a relational database design, ensuring that the uniqueness and the integrity of data within a table in a SQL server.